What's going on, guys? I haven't ranked Drake's discography yet here, back at it with another banger video. Sorry that I've not uploaded in like 3 weeks. My bad. I've just been really enjoying the album reactions and not the actual videos, and no albums that I've wanted to react to. At least hip hop albums that I've wanted to react to have dropped in the last few weeks. The 13th was a great day, and then like these last 2 weeks have been dead. Like, other than the Sampha and Brent Fires albums, there's literally been nothing, I swear. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. In today's video, I'm going to be ranking Drake's discography, from worst to best. There are a few conditions, no compilation albums, so Care Package won't be in this video. And also, I'm not going to be including the non-streaming service stuff because I'm a lazy guy and don't want to go scour the internet to find it. So no comeback season and no room for improvement as well. That's just going to be a rule throughout all these videos, which, yeah, I plan on turning this into a bit of a series where I go through different rappers' discographies and rank them. So comment down below someone you want me to rank the discography of. I'm not going to be ranking like crazy discographies. Like, don't expect Viper discography ranked or Gucci Mane discography ranked anytime soon. But yeah, it's definitely something I'm looking forward to doing. How this video is going to work is I'm just going to run through all the albums from worst to best, give a small mini 3-minute review or whatever of each, and then move on to the next one. Sorry that this video took so long. This was originally meant to come out on Drake's birthday because I was already working on a Drake discography ranking. Before that, so his birthday just kind of coincided with that, but then I decided I wanted to re-listen to 2 of Drake's albums, and that took me a whole week for some reason. But I've re-listened multiple times, and trust me, it's worth it. I'll get onto them later. But yeah, small disclaimer before we get into it. I am a massive Drake fan. Like, he's my most played artist of the year and everything. And I at least like all of these albums. So if your favorite Drake album ends up like really low, I'm sorry, but like, just know that I still like the album. You know what I mean? But yeah, I've waffled for nearly 3 minutes now. Let's get into the actual video. Now, the first album I'd like to speak about is 2021's Certified Lover Boy. Again, not a bad album, and this one is one that's beloved by the Drake community. Obviously, it was clowned on by pretty much all of the rap community back when it first dropped. But like, yeah, if you go on the Reddit and stuff, they're always praising this album, which I can see. This album's like a 7 to me, which should show you how strong his discography is. That his worst album to me is a 7. Quite a long track list, over 80 minutes, I believe, 21 songs. But what this album does have going for it is that when the songs hit on here, they really fucking hit. Like, you've got some insane songs on here. Like, the first 2 songs on this album, crazy. Like, back to back, Champagne Poetry and Pappy's Home are 2 of my favourite modern Drake songs. Champagne Poetry, that song's got its flowers already, but the beat switch on that is just amazing. The sample flip, peak Drake. The bloody Noah should be blind is something I repeat to myself like day to day. But yeah, Pappy's Home I want to shine a bit of a spotlight on because I do feel as if it is one of the more slept on Drake songs. Like, I don't see this song talked about for the absolute banger that it is. Like, this song's crazy. I get that it's kind of cringy and corny, but that's Drake's thing. Yeah, you can't really moan that Drake's too cringy or corny on a song. That's like who Drake is. But yeah, deeper into the track list, you get some great R&B cuts on here. I know a lot of people aren't quite a fan of the singing Drake, but like, you can't listen to Race My Mind and not think that's a beautiful song. Like, that song does things to me, man. And then the switch up, where he starts rapping it, it's just so good. TSU obviously was a bit dodgy with the R. Kelly sample, and especially with the lyrics and the fact that it samples R. Kelly. But like, it's great. It's great. Fair Trade with Travis is an absolute banger, and that gets me on to the fact that the features on this album are great all the way through. There's only really one feature on here I don't like, and that's Lil Baby on Girls Want Girls. I just think his flow's kind of awkward. And that's another song, overhated. It is overshadowed by that one line, and you know the line I'm on about, the line that's posted on Twitter every fucking day. I don't know if I can swear that early into the video, but like, yeah, that line. But if you ignore that line, the flow he hits is so catchy, and the beat's really cool. But yeah, some of my favourite features, Lil Wayne and Rick Ross both went crazy on You Only Live Twice. That song's amazing. Yabba's Heartbreak's a great interlude. Thames on Fountains is really interesting, which that song's kind of like a modern one dance in Drake's discography, and I know there were words of him dropping a full Afrobeats album around the time that Her Loss was coming out. I still kind of want that. Like, obviously he's going on a bit of a break, but like, if he comes back, I hope we get that like Afrobeats and reggaeton album. That'd be amazing. But yeah, just a load of amazing songs. Have I spoken about fucking Pipe Down? The beat on that shit, like, the fact that it was Benny X as well that produced that is insane when you think about the type of stuff that Benny X is producing. That is just wow. 7am on Bridal Path's a good chill song. Love All isn't quite a pound cake / Paris Morton music, but it's good. It's good. I like to hear Jay-Z over more chill production. Because usually he is over quite grandiose stuff, so to hear him on a more sort of stripped down beat, nice. Way Too Sexy. I'm gonna get hate for this, but it is an absolute banger in my opinion. Future goes crazy on there. The last Young Thug verse on that song I think is really underrated. That's a trio that like you'd think would have had more songs than they actually do, because like Drake and Young Thug are frequent collaborators, Drake and Future are frequent collaborators, and Future and Young Thug are frequent collaborators, but like that trio hasn't really linked up as much as I'd have liked it to, because that song in D4L off Darkling Demo Tapes, absolutely insane song. I want more. On the Future Metro album, we better get a song with that trio over the Metro production, that'd be insane. But yeah, there are a few lulls in the track list. Not a massive fan of the outro, The Remorse. Just not a song I'm crazy about. In the Bible is really annoying. Like, and there are better songs with that feature list on them. Like, you know, Dirk had better features in 2021, and Giveon had better features as well. So yeah, that one I'm not crazy about. There's a few other ones I can't exactly remember off the top of my head. In Too Deep with Future's another one that I'm not crazy about. You've got this sort of weird rock rap production on it, and it just doesn't suit either of them. And yeah, I better stop talking about this album, because like, we're 6 minutes in. This video is 10 minutes long. I've not even gotten to the second worst album yet. But yeah, great project in my opinion. Few songs that I'd trim out. Did I mention I Miss You Too? Cuddy, absolute banger. Get Along Better with Ty Dolla $ign. Now, I just want to praise this album. I can't think about like when I'm gonna get onto like the albums that I love in this video, because I'm gonna be here for like 20 minutes talking about them. But yeah, Certified Lover Boy I do think was a bit overhated. I get that it's bloated, but there's very little filler on there. Like, there's 4 or 5 songs on that album that I don't like. The rest of the album is great to me. But yeah, let's go on to the next album. For All the Dogs, I'm going to try and keep this one a bit short, because I did just do a video about this album. My last video was literally a reaction to this album, so go and watch that if you want my full in-depth thoughts on like every song. My opinions on the album haven't really changed since that first listen. The Yeet song, that grew on me. I love that shit now. The bloody intro into that shit is so beautiful, and then you get this like stupid rage song, but it's great. Even Drake's verse has grown on me a bit. Like Yeet went crazy, and I've always liked Yeet on the song, but the Drake verse I always find kind of annoying. It's still kind of boring to me, in the like I'm counting the money for fun bit is mixed like shit, but like the verse is fine now. But yeah, there are some absolute bangers on there. Rich Baby Daddy, like holy shit, that song goes crazy. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, Rich Baby Daddy is one that I've seen a lot of hate for from the Sexy Red feature, but like up until about 4 minutes in, that song is absolutely crazy. Another one that grew on me a lot was Fear of Heights. Crazy. The intro, I was kind of oblivious to the Rihanna side, like sneak dissing in it, but like the intro, I want more songs and that kind of vibe from Drake. That's great. And then the second half is insane. First person shooter with Cole, can't really fault it. 7969 Santa is my favourite song on the whole thing. 8 AM in Charlotte, it was nice to hear Drake on such a jazzy instrumental. Great. Boom bap-esque as well, you know. Crazy to hear him on a Griselda beat as well. But yeah, that was a massive moment. That was kind of like the Benny X production moment of For All the Dogs. Speaking of Benny X produced like most of the songs on here, and he killed on all of them. Away From Home, I think, is one that I've not really seen a whole lot of praise for, but I love that song. Like the I remember flow is so good on that. The bloody like the Jason lyric where he's like on about loads of Jason guys, and it's like there's 3 different Jasons, this shit like the Matrix. It's so good. Gently with Bad Bunny starts off laughably bad, and then it switches up into an absolute crazy song. Another Late Night, I think, is a better rage song than I Don't Give a Fuck. I know that's a hot take, but like the Billie Eilish line, like that shit's just insane. BBL Love, great drumless song. The drumless songs on here, all 3 of them are great. Like Tried Our Best, amazing. That's my favorite of the 3, and then Bahamas Promises is just so funny. Members Only has a few stupid corny lyrics on it, but like Party Next Door goes crazy on the LOL gang with the last ones left and all you like the features on there all great, you know. 21 Savage almost saved whatever Calling for You was. Like that song is a mess. And I don't like it. That's like the only skip is that and Screw the World interlude. But like he almost saved it. Tizo Touchdown on Amen is amazing, and then the surprise feature he did on 7969 Santa is even better. Like Tizo Touchdown, I'm glad he's getting his flowers. He's such a talented guy. Like I already said, Yati on Another Late Night, SZA, both of her contributions to the album were pretty standard SZA, but like standard SZA is amazing. So there you go. I mean, it was also a pretty interesting feature list for Drake. You know, none of the usual faces. You don't have any Future on there. You don't have Young Thug on there. No Majid Jordan. No Lil Wayne. No Rick Ross. No Travis Scott. You know, it was quite a unique feature list for Drake. Yeah, if you told me back in like 2021 that a Drake album would feature Chief Keef, Sexy Red, and Yeet, I'd be like, what the fuck? But no, they all did the thing. Although All the Parties has kind of grown off me a bit, like that song's faded from my rotation already, like within weeks of the album coming out. But yeah, another solid album. I do think that this and Certified Lover Boy back to back are interesting because they're both albums with the same problem but the same pros. You know, they're both albums that are a bit too long and have a few songs I'm not crazy about. You know, It's only 2 songs on For All the Dogs I don't like, but like I'm not exactly going back to All the Parties or Polar Opposites all that much. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Virginia Beach. I was kind of unsure of that song on first listen. I don't know why. That song is amazing and one of Drake's best intros in years. But like, yeah, I think For All the Dogs is just Certified Lover Boy, but better. You know, he took Certified Lover Boy, learned from his mistakes on it. I was disappointed about the whole, oh, the old Drake's coming back, and then we get pretty much a Rage album from him. But like, still good. Let's go on to the next one. I promise we'll get to some old Drake in a bit. 3 modern Drake albums in a row. But this one is a massive step up from the last two. Her Loss is such a fun album. Like, I wouldn't describe it as an amazing Drake album or whatever. There are a few amazing cuts on there, but like, it is so fun. And the quality gap between this one and the next one I'm going to talk about, you'll find out that in about 5 minutes, so I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, that one and this one, there's such a small gap in quality between them that I was like still debating which one was higher while I was making the cards for like between each clip. I was still debating like, but like yeah, um, Her Loss doesn't really feel like a collaboration album. That's my only real criticism of it. That and that Treacherous Twins is a horrible fucking song. But like this feels more like what West Side Gun's been doing with Stove God Cooks, except Drake's West Side Gun and 21 Savage's Stove God Cooks. Like it feels like a Drake album with like a load of 21 features rather than a collab album. And the general sort of like consensus going into this, and I even fed into it a bit myself, was that 21 Savage was going to carry the album and that he was going to body Drake. That didn't really transpire. There's very few 21 Savage performances that I think are great. They're all just like good to me. They're all just standard. I do think that that album was sort of the start of the downfall of 21 Savage. Like, back like last year up until that point, he was going crazy on every single song, and then Her Loss dropped. And then he got a crop of good features on Heroes and Villains, and then since he hasn't really done anything that's impressed me. He's just been standard, good, 21 Savage, 7 out of 10 performances on every song. But like, yeah, there are so much bangers on here. All 4 of the Drake solo songs on this album, I know that's like not important to a collab album, but all 4 of the solo Drake songs on here are amazing. Like, Middle of the Ocean is such an impressive song. Like, the fact that the beat switches like practically midline as well. That song is insane. I guess It's Fuck Me is one of the most underrated songs on the whole thing. I never see anyone talking about it, but like, that's like some Nothing Was the Same type shit, you know? Like, people always speak about wanting the old Drake back and that. Go listen to I Guess It's Fuck Me again. That song is a great old Drake song. Yeah. Back Outside Boys is a triumphant banger that makes me go crazy every time it's on. You know, Yachty's ad-libs on that song, amazing. And then Jumbotron Shit Poppin's like a really smooth song. I'd have loved to have heard like Young Thug on that, or Gunna on that. That shit would have been crazy. Because it does kind of feel like Drake's version of like a ski, you know what I mean? But still, great. Let's get into the actual songs though. Rich Flex is a crazy intro. I know that song has been turned into a meme, but once you get to like 40 seconds in where you're past the 21, can you do something for me? But like, and you just get into the actual song, it's the best 21 Savage verse on the album and one of the best Drake verses on the album. And I'm not gonna lie, the bridge before the beat switches is catchier than the like 21, do your thing, 21, do your thing. Like the bridge between the first beat and the second beat. Oh, shit fucking sends me. And then Drake comes in with the interpolation, and then he starts the like, I'm Young Money CMB flow. It's great. Over some Tay Keith production, which in 2022 it was it was like a bit of a nostalgia trip to hear Tay Keith on production, you know. But yeah, that song's great. You've got Major Distribution, which just an insane song. Very similar in production to TD by Lil Yachty, and I do actually think that Yachty produced that one. Yachty's involvement with that album, like, Yachty was more involved with that album than 21 Savage was. But, like, yeah, that song, crazy. On BS is probably my favourite on the whole thing. The bit where the beat drops out for Drake's second verse. Oh, I know a lot of people were like, oh, he's dissing XXXTentacion in this one. I don't really believe that, but even if he was, which is like poor taste, blah blah blah. Like, I just want to get to that. Like, don't diss dead people, but like, the flow he catches there is so good. I do scream that part of the song every time it comes on. The hook isn't great and the beat's kind of weak, but like, Drake and 21's chemistry on that, it's just so good. What else is that? I Was in Silence. 21 ruins the song, but it's great. Privileged Rappers is a banger. Spin About You's a banger. Circo Loco, like, holy shit, that song is crazy. More Rhymes is a great, more sinister, dark banger. Like, when you think of 21 Savage and Metro Boomin, More Rhymes is the kind of song you think about. Drake's fine on that one. That's one of the few Drake performances on the album that I'm lukewarm on, is that song. Not really important in the discography ranking side of things, but the 21 Savage track on here is great. It is a bit short, but like, hearing 21 Savage on a more sort of relaxed beat is really nice and refreshing. The Travis Scott song on here, I know a lot of people speak about the Travis verse because the Travis verse is amazing, but like, that's one of my favourite 21 Savage verses on the whole song. No, on the whole album, sorry. The Drake hook is so catchy, and the way that it's repeated at the end. The outro of that song is great as well. But yeah, great album. Broke Boys, the beat switch on that shit is insane. You know, it's just a great album. I'm trying to think, is there any songs that I haven't mentioned? Because I do genuinely want to highlight every single song on here. I know I don't like Treacherous Twins, but other than that, it's just a great album. And it's a load of fun as well, which modern Drake has been tapping into a bit more. But like, if you're going to Drake and you just want some fun, catchy bangers and you don't really care about the lyrical performances or whatever, genuinely just go to this album. And then mixed in, you've got Middle of the Ocean and I guess it's Fuck Me Towards the End, which are both great lyrical Drake songs. But yeah. So Far Gone's an album I kind of slept on. This isn't one of the ones I re-listened to. I'd already re-listened to this like a month ago when I first started working on this video. But yeah, this album has so many bangers. Successful. That's a special fucking song. The hook on that shit, like, makes me insane. Wayne's verse on it, he comes in with like this weird delivery that's like different for Wayne, but he kills it. Speaking of Wayne, Wayne's on here like a million times. I'm never gonna complain about Lil Wayne being on an album, especially 2000s Lil Wayne. Like, getting multiple features from 2000s Lil Wayne is crazy. So much bangers, like Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. So smooth. Let's Call It Off with Peter Boyan and John. Like, that song sounds completely different to anything Drake has done, and it's a banger. Like, it was kind of like the Hold On We're Going Home of that album. You know, it was Drake doing a full-on pop song, but it worked. Little bit with Likey Lee. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I have no idea how to say her name. That song's banger and kind of foreshadowed Take Care, which foreshadowed all of Honestly Nevermind. just want to specify for those of you that haven't heard Take Care, the Take Care like title song. Take Care is not a dance album by any means, but yeah, the outro on here great. There are a few songs I don't like on here. Like I don't like the one that's a date. What the fuck is that song called again? But yeah, it's Drake trying to do Chopped and Screwed, and it does not sound good. Ignorant shit with Lil Wayne, I'm not crazy about, but like yeah, even just shit like A Night Off with Lloyd and that. Lost for Life, banger. Best I Ever Had. I see a lot of people clowning that song and saying Best I Ever Had's overrated and it's only rated because it's Drake's biggest hit. The production on that shit is beautiful. Like, it is genuinely like a beautiful beat. And Drake goes in. Like, I love that shit so much. Wow. You the fucking best. You the fucking best. Best I ever had. Like, holy shit. That song gives me nostalgia because that's the first Drake song I ever heard. I heard that and didn't know it was Drake because I was like 3 years old or something. And then, like, this is just my story of how I got into Drake. I then heard Started From the Bottom. I can't remember what I heard it in, but I heard it in something. Like, it might have been an advert or something. And then Hold On We're Going Home was, like, all over the radio in the UK. And that was the song that turned me into a Drake fan. So those are the songs that give me the most nostalgia. Which I know that was kind of late to get into Drake back in like 2013, but I was like a child. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, this album, so much bangers. Like, it's insane. The interlude on here is great. It does feature Drake trying to sound like Lil Wayne. Like, I do think that that's the era. Like, you get your Drake eras, you know, post 2020 was like modern Drake, you know. 2015 to like 2016 was like the trap Drake era. And Take Care, Nothing Was the Same, that's amazing. But I'd more say Take Care's with like the first two, like Thank Me Later and So Far Gone. And then you got onto Nothing Was the Same. Of the albums where Drake was trying to sound like Lil Wayne and you could hear it, but like it worked. Like his voice was quite high pitched back then, which is like funny to hear now. Like you hear like the gritted teeth delivery on something of like Fear of Heights or whatever. Like, what? Hey, girl, you made me wanna go feel like the law. And it's like, all right, you were out here like doing high pitched R&B ballads back in the day. Shut up. But yeah, this album is great. Well, not even an album, it's a mixtape, I believe. But this mixtape is great, and I do think that it doesn't get its flowers. It doesn't get what it deserves as a bit of a classic, in my opinion. Like, I'm not saying it's a perfect mixtape or whatever, but yeah. And, like, at least 20% of my praise for this album is nostalgia. There are some production choices that haven't aged well. You know, Drake's one of those that's very of the time. You know, he's doing the trends at that time. And then he moves on, you know? So there are some production choices that haven't really aged well, but, like, that's true for, like, most 2000s hip-hop albums. That style of production just isn't up to par now, but, like, I love this shit. It's so good. Here I am shitting on 2020's Drake again. Woohoo. No, I'm joking. I love this album. This is where we get to like the 8 territory. 8 to like 9 territory, sorry. This is like an 8.5 for me. Genuinely close to skipless album, in my opinion. One of the most consistently good Drake albums. Only song I'd take off here is Currents. Like, the bed squeaking has kind of worn off on me. Like, it's fine now. It's not the atrocious mess it was back when it first dropped, you know. Just hearing more Jersey Club songs that do that, you know. But like, I'm glad that people have kind of came round on this album. Like, I do still see it getting clowned quite a lot, but like, this album has its fans now. which I am like really grateful for because I remember getting clowned for loving this shit as much as I did when it first came out. And this album was a weird album for me. Like, this album is very special to me in a way because up until this album, I had never liked dance music. Like, my taste up until this album was pretty much solely rap and R&B. And then I listened to this and like you got a lot of like African house inspired stuff, like Tex Go Green and stuff, and that song and Massive, which has been my most played song back to back years. Massive, like, holy shit, fucking amazing song. But those songs sort of sparked something in me, and then I went and listened to Beyonce's Renaissance, and now dance is one of my most played genres outside of like pop, rap, and R&B. And even then, it's like overtaken pop. Yeah, like my favorite album this year so far is like the Jessie Ware album. You know, I really like the Ellie Goulding album as well. You know, like I would not be a fan of those albums if it wasn't for this one. But yeah, this album is so fucking good. It's not even just dance music, you know. You do obviously have two rapping songs with Sticky and Jimmy Cooks. Those are great, but like you also have like R&B cuts. Like Liability, and the name of it just popped out of my head. What the fuck? Oh no, what's it called again? It's like one of the later on songs. I can't remember the name of it, for fuck's sake. Oh nah, that's annoying because I'll get it as soon as this clip is done. But for those of you that know what I'm talking about, I love that song. Massive. My favourite off this album by far. You've got like this progressive house banger. Falling Back is great until he starts doing the falsetto vocals. Like, the falsetto vocals do not sound good on here, but the beat on this shit is so chill. Tex Go Green, insane song. Absolutely insane song. And I did not know what that phrase meant until I heard that song, so that's great. Calling My Name's the one that's grown on me a lot. And that song's stupid, but it's fun. Like the first half is unnecessarily like beautiful for what he's talking about. Like, he's on about like making women come and shit over this like really nice production, and then it switches up into the second half, which is pretty much just a bass line, and then the song goes into a keeper, which is sort of like a mini Massive. Like, it's like a piano driven house banger. Flights Booked is another one that's growing on me like crazy. Like, on first listen I thought it was okay, but that song has had me in a chokehold recently. Like, that shit's like almost overtaken Massive. Like, that's an amazing song. But wow, what a project. Genuinely. Jimmy Cooks, I get what they were going for with it. You know, it is the bridge from Honestly Nevermind into Her Loss, but it does take points off the cohesive aspect of the album. Like, Drake couldn't just do an album in one genre. Like, he had to throw a basic trap banger on at the end, but it's a good basic trap banger, you know. 21 Savage, that verse he did on Jimmy Cooks, this is getting me flamed 100%. 21 Savage's verse on Jimmy Cooks is better than anything he did on Her Loss. I said it. But yeah, genuinely, I think Honestly Nevermind, massively overhated album. I do think the Honestly Nevermind's the Drake album with the most pop appeal. You know, it is just house songs for the whole thing, pretty much, outside of a few R&B tracks and then some Jersey Club and trap production. But like, you know, picking Drake's most pop appealing album is like difficult because they are all pop appealing. He is pop rap, but like, I'm talking to like a strictly pop audience, like an audience that doesn't listen to rap music. I'd advise you to go listen to this. Also, a lot of the hate I've seen for this album has been from like people online. Like, I've never met someone in real life who doesn't like this album. That's because all the people I know haven't listened to it. No, but like, everyone I know that's listened to this album doesn't hate it like people on TikTok do, for example. But yeah, great fucking dance album, and I'm pretty sure I checked the statistics. I'm pretty sure this is my second most played Drake album of all time, which should show you just how fun this is. Like, I was on about how fun Her Loss is. This album is even more fun than Her Loss for me. Like, it's just a nice vibe, you know. It's the kind of album that simultaneously works in like every setting. Like, I could listen to this like chilling on a beach. I could listen to this at a barbecue. I could listen to this like late at night. Like, shit like Falling Back in that, like, and Calling My Name, where it's just more sort of dark bass lines. Like, that's like great late night songs for me. Genuinely, I really strongly advise people to go and re-listen to this. Like, I'm not on about like all the other ones. Like, I'm not going to tell you like, I'm not gonna like pop up on here and be like, you need to re-listen to Certified Lover Boy to get the message or whatever. No, I'm not doing that. But like, this album, I strongly advise you to go and re-listen to, because this shit, like, I just don't understand how people don't like this album. I don't. Yes, the singing isn't amazing. It's pretty basic, but when is Drake been known to be an amazing singer? Like, he's a good singer, but like, when was he known to be an amazing singer? Let me drink this coffee that I forgot to boil the kettle when I made. So this shit's gonna be freezing cold. No, I like my coffee freezing cold. But yeah, great album. On to the next one. This is Drake's most underrated album. If honestly Nevermind's the most overhated, this is the most underrated. Thank Drake Me Later as the cover says. That's something that I've always found funny, is that the cover says Thank Drake Me Later. But holy shit. Up until about track 10, there's not a miss on this album. Every single song is a banger. Even some of the stuff that hasn't aged well, you know, I think post 2013 Drake, like the last 10 years, everything's aged well. But like the Take Care back through like So Far Gone, and also like the early two mixtapes, like the songs I've heard from them haven't aged well. But like Thank Me Later and So Far Gone, my play off nostalgia. For some reason, this one has Best I Ever Had too. Like, it was so good the first time, they needed an encore. Yeah. I've used that joke for everything. I'm not even joking, I've used that punchline like 8 million times. But there is so much bangers, like Find Your Love. I need to find your love, yeah. I need to find your love. Is one of my most, like, favourite. I know I just said most favourite. Fuck. I'm gonna get claimed for that as well. It's gonna be. The videos are gonna be. Oh, Specky with no opinion on rap music says most favourite in his video. No. Find Your Love is one of my most. Fuck, I did it again. Find Your Love's one of my favourite singing pop Drake songs. Holy shit. Fireworks with Alicia Keys, amazing. Fancy. Oh, that song's iconic. That song is amazing. Jeezy song on here is great. Up All Night's great. Over, absolute all-time Drake banger. Karaoke is a great Drake R&B track. And I'm not even speaking about every song on here that I love. Like, this like whole album is great. The song with The Dream on here, like, that's insane. Like, I think that's the closest that Drake has came to like making like a trilogy era Weekend song. Like, it's dark and psychedelic, which is so different for Drake, but like it is so good. This whole album, like, genuinely, I know I was just on about like not forcing people to re-listen to shit. Re-listen to Thank Me Later. Like, this shit, whenever I see the Drake discography ranking, and I'm aware that this is ranked quite low, but like, every time I see it, this is like a bottom 3 album, and I don't think it's even bottom 3 just because people don't like it. I think it's bottom 3 because people forget about it. Go and re-listen to this shit. Like, I can kind of see why it was kind of a forgotten album, because if you want really old Drake, a lot of people will just go to So Far Gone. And then if you want like that classic old Drake, you know, Take Care, Nothing Was the Same, they'll go to Take Care and Nothing Was the Same. They'll go from like Take Care to Views. So this one kind of was a bridge from So Far Gone to Take Care, which I can actually kind of see as well, because it was Drake incorporating more rapping performances into the R&B tracks. You know, you do have like actual bangers on here, like So Far Gone, most of it is pop and R&B. Like, he does rap on a lot of it, but the rapping is mostly, over R&B production. Whereas on here, you know, you do get some rap bangers like Over and Fancy and stuff like that. But yeah, genuinely, just go and re-listen to this shit, please. Please, I'm begging you, re-listen to this album. I've gone insane in this video, I swear. Just wait until we're at the end, and I won't even have finished the ranking, and I'll be doing the outro. But yeah. You fancy her? No, let's get on to the next album. This was the first of the 2 albums that I re-listened to, and boy, am I glad I did it, because a little bit of an Easter egg here. What Time to Be Alive was my worst Drake album before I re-listened to it. Like, I remember just like not clicking with this album, because I've always maintained Drake doesn't have a bad album other than What Time to Be Alive. Nah, I always thought this album was just okay, you know, but this was a fun re-listen because I've not listened to this album since 2015. Like, that's 8 years. But pretty much all of the songs on here bang. Like, Big Rings is a horrendous song, one of the worst ever Drake songs. But like, the rest of the track list on here, literally all great. And if you want a trap Drake album, if you just go to If You're Reading This or go to this album, like, and even then, I recommend If You're this over If You're Reading This in terms of a trap Drake album, just because other than 30 for 30 freestyle, the whole thing is a trap album. Like, this is the closest Drake has came to making a full-on trap album. Obviously, If You're Reading This, is songs like Jungle and 6 PM in New York, which aren't exactly trap, but this is like full-on. Again, like the Her Loss thing, it's not relevant to a collab album, but the solo tracks on here, especially Future's one, Jersey is a crazy song. Like, Jersey's one of my favourite ever Future songs. So good. But yeah, from the intro, this shit is crazy. You know, songs like Digital Dash and Live from the Gutter are amazing. Jumpman's like an all-time Drake banger. 30 for 30 freestyle, Drake went crazy on. Diamonds Dancing's good. You have, what's it called? Change Locations, I want to say. That one's amazing. Genuinely, just every song on here is great. My favourite is Live from the Gutter. Live from the Gutter is just this grimy, dark atmosphere. Like, that was the song Future had the most influence on the sound of, definitely. Like, the other songs sort of feel like a bridge where it is like just like amped up anthemic trap, but like that song is the dark, grimy Future song on there, and Drake does his thing on it as well. The reason that this is ranked lower, because from what I'm saying, you know, this shit should be like top 3 or whatever, but the reason that this is ranked lower is just a personal preference thing. Like, I'm gonna be honest, trap Drake isn't my favourite Drake. Like, I don't really go to Drake for trap music. If I want trap music, like, that's not me citing trap music. Trap music's my favourite rap genre. But if I want trap music, I'll go to Young Thug, or I'll go to Future, or I'll go to Travis Scott, or that type of stuff. You know, I'm not exactly going to Drake for trap stuff. My favourite Drake is Singing Drake, and I will always maintain that. I get that a lot of people are like, we want a full-on Drake rap album. But my favourite Drake is when he's just making smooth bangers, you know. Shit like Hotline Bling and stuff. That's my Drake. That's my Drake. You know, Successful. Successful is one of my favourite ever Drake songs. But yeah, genuinely, What a Time to Be Alive is Drake's best collab album. I also feel as if it feels more like a collab album than Her Loss did. Like, Her Loss feels like a Drake album with 11 21 Savage features. This is a collab album, you know. They both get equal screen time. They both have influence on the production and stuff. Although Future, like, curated pretty much the whole thing, I think, because, you know, this album was the first time that Drake had worked with, like, Southside and Metro Boomin and the other 808 Mafia guys. Like, this was the first time that he really worked with that crowd, and I do think this album is to blame for the gangster Drake era. You know, this album, like, before that, Drake was just money, women, drugs, which is fine. And then this album was the one where he started, like, talking about, like, putting shit on people's heads and stuff. Like, that's not really the Drake I'm crazy about. Like, I like it, I find it hard and stuff or whatever, but, like, it's not exactly authentic, is it? You know, you're an actor from Toronto, you're not a gangster. But, like, that's just a personal preference thing. Otherwise, I really enjoy this project. Not my most played Drake project, but it is definitely one I underrated and underestimated when I was first concocting the ranking of this video. I don't know why I said concocting. But let's go on to the next album. This was the most fun re-listen. Scorpion is, like, a crazy album to me. I remember liking it when it first came out. Like, I was one of the few Scorpion defenders when Scorpion first came out. But I didn't remember liking it this much. I remember having sort of similar feelings to what I had on Certified Lover Boy when this album came out. Like, it's a long Drake album that goes on a bit too long, but there's a load of bangers on here. And then I went back and re-listened to it and found, oh shit, there's only one song I don't like on this album. I love all of the other songs. If you're wondering, the only song I don't like on here is Talk Up. I don't know what it is about that song I don't like. I just find it quite boring. And the beat is just kind of dead. Like, what people say about beats like Non-Stop and Can't Take a Joke, that's my opinion on the Talk Up beat. And it's a shame, because other than that, Drake and Jay-Z are an amazing collab, but, like, that song's a miss. But other than that, I also think part of the reason that people hated this album so much was because they didn't factor in the fact that this is a double album, you know? Of course, if you're going to do the full 90 minutes, full 25 songs, unless you're a Drake fan, that's probably going to be a painstaking process. I really like that. I go through the album 90 minutes most of the time. It's very rare that I listen to the album in halves. But, like, yeah. And this album is proof of my theory that Singing Drake is the best Drake, because R&B half of this album is way better than the first one. First half is great. You've got so much great stuff on there. Like, Survival. I do maintain that you'll find out what my favourite Drake intro is later on in the video, but Survival is definitely up there. And I think that Survival is one of Drake's most underrated intros. Like, that is one of the most quotable Drake songs ever. The beat on that song is insane. Like, You've got so much different like sounds on there. Like it's a very synthy beat, which is rare for a Drake sort of stream of consciousness song. It's also rare that a Drake stream of consciousness song is like as short as this one is, but it's great. I do wish it was longer. I think Survival could have been one of those Drake songs that goes on for 5 minutes. Or when he raps on Tuscan Leather about like how he could go for like an hour or whatever. I want an hour long version of Survival. It's so good. Then you've got Sandra's Rose, which might be my favourite song on the whole thing. Really grandiose production on it. Amazing. 8 out of 10 is one that I've been sleeping on first listen. I can't remember why, but I found it to be just okay. That song is amazing. Plies comes in at the end to ruin the song, but like the first bit where it is just Drake rapping his ass off on this soulful production, it's that's my rapping Drake. That's the rapping Drake I want, is the soulful production, fun rapping Drake. Not trap Drake, or not like sad rapping Drake. Emotionless. I think that's an underrated song. I think that's part of the reason why I didn't love 8 out of 10 as much, was because Emotionless does the whole soul sample Drake song thing, but it does it for like twice the length, and like it's more quotable and stuff. Obviously I love 8 out of 10 now and it's an absolute banger and I'll just throw it on if I want to turn up, but like Emotionless, beautiful song. So much quotables on that song too. Like when people speak about Drake being a quotable rapper, I do think that Scorpion is one of the main albums for that. Like if you're just going to Drake for individual lyrics, not even storytelling, just individual lyrics, you know, this album, you do get some like corny shit on here, like, but it's not to the extent of something like a For All the Dogs lyrically. Like this shit, like there's so much quotable lines on here, even on the R&B cuts. But yeah, I've just spoken about the rap half. The R&B half I've not even got into, but more stuff about the rap half before I get into the second half. Non-Stop, one of the few like gritted teeth, aggressive Drake songs that I love. Non-Stop's amazing. I'm Upset is the song that grew on me the most from this album. I remember thinking, oh my god, this is terrible. What has Pusha T done? When I'm Upset came out, like, I was like, oh shit. Drake's over. Like, I'd been a Drake fan up until that point. He wasn't my favourite rapper at the time. I would have probably been Nav, I'm not even gonna lie. Nav's still up there for me. I love Nav. I'll do a discography ranking for Nav. That'll be my next video. But like, 2018, Drake wasn't my favourite rapper yet. He was one of them, but he wasn't my favourite. So when Pusha T dissed him, I was like, holy shit, this diss track's amazing. Like, I was like, oh no. How's Drake gonna respond? I was like, oh no, Drake, what are you gonna do? But yeah, I'm Upset. So much horrible aged lines on this song as well. Like, I'm not even just talking the can't go 50-50 with no hoe line. I'm not even just talking about that. The X diss, really corny shit. Like, really corny. I do think it is, at its base, a good lyric if X hadn't died. Like, if he was just on about X getting shot and surviving and using that as the metaphor for the line, then it's a good lyric. It's creative, you know? But, like, the fact that X died from that shot and he's using that as a metaphor for sending nudes is, like, really fucking poor taste. But the sound of this song is good. Benny X as well. Benny X on it is crazy. But yeah, more bangers on the first half. Mob Ties, another one that the X fans get a bit conspiratorial over. That one's not as blatant as the I'm Upset lyrics, but one of the most fast-paced Drake songs. Like, Mob Ties is crazy. Mob Ties is like, it's got this sort of Young Thug type beat on it again, but he goes in. What else is there on the rapping half? Is There More's an interesting one. Another one that I didn't like on first listen that I love now. I found a weird sample that almost sounds like wind blowing. I found that really annoying. Whereas now I can kind of look past that because like Drake's performance on it is so good. But let's get into the crown jewel of the album. I've talked for this album about 8 minutes and I've not even gotten to the half of the album that I like. There are songs on the R&B half that I do think don't fit. You know? Like shit like Blue Tint, that should have been on the first half. Also, Blue Tint should have been a hit. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, Scorpion, I actually think Scorpion's got the most hits of any Drake album. Like, you know, pretty much every hit on that album is a massive Drake hit, you know? In My Feelings, one of Drake's biggest ever songs. God's Plan, one of Drake's biggest ever songs. Trying to get onto God's Plan. God's Plan's good. Like, God's Plan's not a song that I play all that much. Like, I'll play it in the context of the album, but it's one of those that I don't really know how God's Plan went as crazy as it did, to be honest. Like, it's just a kind of catchy, like, 6 out of 10 trap banger. Like, it's just okay. Also, I never fucking spoke about Elevate. Oh my god, I love that song. Shit, I've gone for like nearly 10 minutes about Scorpion. How am I gonna like cope when I'm at the top 3? But yeah, I feel as if Blue Tint should have been a hit from the album. That song is so catchy. It's almost kind of like the Ice Melts of Scorpion, and I want more Drake songs like that where it is more just traditional trap stuff. Because that shit, and then Jumbotron shit popping, and what would Pluto do? I didn't mention that one off for all the dogs. Like, that shit? What would Pluto do is just Jumbotron shit popping, but slightly worse, but it's still great. Yeah. The OK flow is amazing on that. Alright, back to Scorpion. R&B half. Doesn't start off the best with Peak. I don't think there's a skip on the R&B half. Peak's the closest thing to one. You know, it starts off as this nice, slow vibe, and then you get the synths, and it's like, what the fuck is this? But like, yeah. You've then got songs like Jaded, which that song is not nice lyrically. I do not like that song lyrically, but it sounds great. Finesse, sexy fucking song. One of my favorite ever Drake songs. Like, if you asked me to make a top 10 Drake songs, Finesse would be up there. That's an idea for a video, actually. I was actually going to do a Drake song ranking where I did every Drake song, but I'm not doing that now. But yeah, that one would go high. That one would go far in the Drake bracket for me as well. Like, I remember watching Hive Mind's bracket of Drake. Great video, by the way. Love Hive Mind. But yeah, that video is great, and they slapped on Finesse a bit. Finesse should have made it to the final 4, but like, yeah, Finesse is great. I love that song. Ratchet Happy Birthday is one I'm gonna defend. Like, it's a mess, but the beat on that shit is amazing. And it's so fun. Then you've got In My Feelings as well, which I think is a bit slept on just because it's a hit and it became a bit of a dance trend, which is, that automatically boosts a song's corny points. Is if it becomes a dance. Like, I feel like, you know, it happened to AO and Teo, and that shit was like, ugh. Any rap song that is just dancing, it's not good. But like, yeah, that song's amazing. You've got this really smooth song that then goes into like a glitchy, dancey banger with City Girls and Lil Wayne talking. It's great though. Nice for What, my favourite hit off the album. Like I said, I love Soulful Drake, but this is Soulful Drake with a really fast-paced anthemic trap beat behind him. Great song. There's like 3 different hooks to it as well, and they're all catchy as fuck. That's another one that's got a bit of a weird, like, glitchy breakdown, but that one's great. After Dark, one of the most slept on songs. The production on that shit is so fucking like bouncy. And then the After Dark vocals. Oh shit. Did I mention Ty Dolla $ign on Jaded? Oh my god. Ty Dolla $ign's amazing, but like that is the best Ty Dolla $ign's ever been, is on Jaded. When he was doing background vocals on Jaded, he was so good. He saves that song, I can't lie. No. What else is there? Final Fantasy. It's fine. It starts off great and then it becomes fine. Yeah. The production on it is really nice. I can't remember who produced it, but whoever did a great job. That song was great. The outro where he's speaking about Adonis and stuff, so nice lyrically. Like, yes, like it's a bit dodgy after the history with like him like hiding Adonis and stuff, but like I'm not too tapped into that. I'm not too into like the nitty gritty rap details. Like, I'm one of those that's just for the music. I don't read too much into drama, but like it is a bit strange, but it's great. I love that song. But yeah, just a great fucking album. Like, literally every song is a banger. Like, the worst song is Talk Up, but like other than that, the worst songs like God's Plan. And God's Plan's a banger, so yeah. Great album. This shit is even more underrated than Thank Me Later. Oh my god. Dark Lane Demo Tapes is so good. I don't know why people wrote this album off. Like, this album, Thank Me Later has its reasons, you know. It's old Drake, but it's not classic old Drake. You know, So Far Gone, Take Care. Nothing Was the Same are all regarded as classics, but like, Thank Me Later isn't. This one had no reason. You know, Drake was the biggest rapper in the world when this shit came out, and no one talks about it. I do have my criticisms of this album, like the pop rap songs on here. Nah, this album would have been better had he just gone down the no bangers. Just I'm gonna just do the slow songs. But oh my god, every song on here. There are a couple I don't like actually. Like, this one isn't super consistent. It just has like all-time Drake songs on it. Like, I'm talking not even all-time modern Drake. I'm talking like full-on all-time Drake songs. I don't like Landed on here. I never got that song. It's just annoying to me. And then Pain 1993. I like the beat on it a lot, and I think Playboy Carti's verse is good, but Drake's pocket, the pocket Drake tries to catch it, it's not good for him. But other than that, every song on here is crazy, and that includes Tootsie Slide. I will defend that song. Like, that song is obvious TikTok bait, but the beat on it is so nice. Like, the way that the drums are kind of off kilter from the melody, it creates this really nice bounce to it. And the actual verses of this song are great. It's really smooth. And then the drill songs towards the end, they do take away from the cohesiveness. I don't know. Cohesion. I think it's cohesion that I'm looking for. It does take away from the cohesion of the album, but like, they're good enough. Demons I don't love. The beat on it's cool, but it's just fine. Whereas War I do actually really like. But let's get into the album that I actually like the part of the album that I love. Yeah, you take those songs out of it, as well as D4L, because that song is a crazy banger, but it doesn't fit the vibe. That leaves you with just 8 songs, but those 8 songs are all something special. Like, Deep Pockets, another beloved Drake intro for me. I mean, he is always great at intros, but I'm talking like this is even better than Virginia Beach in Survival for me. Like, this is the closest Drake has came to like beating Tuscan Leather with an outro. No, an intro, sorry. I just spoiled that Tuscan Leather's my favourite intro, but yeah. This one, amazing. Chicago Freestyle, I know there is the whole like Eminem controversy. In my opinion, he did the flow better than Eminem did. And how can you dislike that song when Giveon is so beautiful over it? Like, Giveon didn't even need a beat. He just does vocals at the start of the song and it's beautiful. Amazing song. Really smooth. Banger. He did blatantly rip off the Eminem flow to the point where he was kind of stealing lyrics as well, but I prefer it coming from Drake. You know, I'm not going to Eminem for that kind of flow. I'm not going to Eminem in general. You'll find out my opinions on him if you haven't already seen my activity on Reddit. But like, yeah, I love that song. Not You Too with Chris Brown. Chris Brown barely does anything on this song. Like, I don't even know why he's listed as a feature. Like, I'm talking, this guy has less contributions to the song than Ty Dolla $ign has to Jaded. Like, Ty Dolla $ign just does backing vocals and he has more involvement in the song than Chris Brown does on here. But great song. Desires with Future is probably my favourite Drake and Future collab, which I know is a bit of blasphemy for my favourite song between them not to be a banger. But like, that song is beautiful. Future goes crazy on it as well. Losses, really smooth. From Florida with Love is a really strange song. Like, I don't know how to define that. Like, if I had to like pick the genre that song is, it would be like lo-fi trap music. It's weird. And the blur ad-libs is just, it's so good. I love that song. Like, you know, I think it's a producer tag or something. I don't know. But yeah. Phew. My bottle just fell over on my bed and I thought it had spilled on me, but no, it hadn't. We're all good. We're all good. But yeah. Amazing fucking song. Fuck, what else is there? When to Say When is the closest thing to a banger on here that fits the vibe. Like, I see a lot of people calling this song a timestamp song and shit, like that type of Drake song. I don't really find it that. Like, When to Say When's kind of like a Pappy song for me. Like, that song's a banger, in my opinion. I want to make sure I spoke about all these songs. What am I missing? Time Flies. Oh my god, I nearly missed that. That's my favourite song on the whole thing. Wow, amazing song. The flow he catches, that is just a special Drake song to me. I'm outside in the AMG, right side, TT, 2-time baby girl, you know me. Banger. Have I mentioned D4L? Nah, I've mentioned the song so much in this video. That song is insane. I do wish Young Thug was on it more. I think, like, if Young Thug had a verse, or if he just had a few bars in the verse or something, the song would be even better than it already is, but Future goes crazy. The bit with, like, the high-pitched ad-libs, nasty shit. Drake feels like a feature on his own song, and I'm pretty sure Spotify actually has him listed as a feature on the song. Like, Spotify, if you go on Spotify, this song is listed as, like, Future featuring Drake and Young Thug, which I think that makes sense. Like, Future has a couple verses. He does the hook. Like, he does half the hook. Young Thug does the other half, and then Drake does a verse. But, such a good song. Like, I'm talking, like, Migos level of chemistry between these three on this song. I want more collabs from these three, because Way Too Sexy is crazy, and then this song, fucking banger. I'm not even joking. I don't even think I've spoke about everything on here. I'm pretty sure there's a few that I'm missing, but I can't remember them. So we're gonna move on. Genuinely, Dark Lane Demo Tapes is such an underrated album. Like, I don't even see people online hating on this shit. I just don't see any conversation about it. And now my phone needs charge, so you're going to have to see a different background for the rest of the ranking. Ha ha ha. But yeah, great album. And I'm gonna be honest, I kind of prefer this angle. This angle's more interesting. You know, there's multiple cat. It's not just my head, whatever's behind me that you can't see on a shelf, you know. Now you can see my toothbrush and my fan that I don't use, and my windowsill. And I've got to hold my phone in a very specific place to not shine my camera onto my neighbour's house. This is great. Yeah. Views, man. Oh, now we're on to like the real classic Drake shit. Like I was on about like 8s and 9s and shit. These are the 10s. These are the 10s. This album, I'm gonna be honest, this is the other one I re-listened to because I had this at 13th and I saw a load of Drake fans calling this a classic. And I was like, I really don't want to put this album bottom 2. And I re-listened to it and I realised, oh shit, there's not a bad song on this whole album. Like, that's how great this shit is. I think it is another one of Drake's more fun albums. This was the first Drake album to really have the 20 plus song, just a load of different sounds, every different Drake you can imagine formula. I mean, Take Care kind of did it, but Take Care is more cohesive than these other albums. But yeah, this shit, like, amazing. You've got so much bangers on here. Again, the worst songs on this album are all the trap songs. Every trap song on here isn't as good. You know, pop style, hype, Grammys, I don't love any of them. What I'm really going to this album for is the One Dance and the Controller. Like, those two songs are amazing. Blem's one of my favourite Drake songs, and I'll go into that in a bit, but Controller is kind of like the Blem of this album, where it's, yes, it is Afrobeats to a certain extent, but it's also kind of something else. It's got a bit of something else to it, you know. The intro on here is great. 9 is a really nice vibey song. The Rihanna collab is great and even better than Take Care in my opinion. Song of Party Next Door is good. The Division and Pimp C song is an absolute banger. I'm forgetting a lot of these fucking names. Oh shit. The Summer's Over interlude with Magic Jordan, that song's nice. Fuck, I can't remember the names of any of these songs. Like, I want to talk about these songs, but I can't remember the names. But yeah, genuinely, I don't have a lot to say about Views. That hasn't already sort of been said about other albums, you know. It's just got a few nice enough songs on it. I'm still gonna get flamed. I moved this shit up like 8 places or some shit, and I'm still getting flamed for my opinion on it. No, this is a skipless album in my opinion. It does rank a bit lower because the highs aren't as high as, well, the albums above it that you will find out and probably already know if you've been watching this video, and also probably already know if you've seen any other discography ranking for Drake. Like, I don't have interesting opinions on Drake's discography, I'm sorry. There are discographies that I do have interesting opinions on. Let's just plug future videos that don't exist and won't come out for months. But yeah, great album. I was on about getting clowned for my Drake takes earlier on in the video. If I don't get clowned for that, I'm getting clowned for this. Like, the general consensus is that this is Drake's best album, absolutely. And the shit I've got above this will make this video even more of a meme. But yeah, I'll get on to why this album isn't in the top 3 or even number 1 in a bit. I want to speak about what I like about it first. The deluxe of this shit doesn't affect the ranking at all because I'm not ranking the deluxe edition, I'm ranking the original 12 song. Nothing was the same. But yeah, the deluxe is great. You've got All Me, which is an absolute banger. Rare pre-2015 Drake trap anthem. Genuinely great party anthem. One of those songs that even though it's early trap Drake, it's actually aged quite well. Come Through is one of my favorite ever Drake songs, and the song that the name's just gone out of my head. That song, I can't even remember the name of it. That one's amazing. I actually first heard that song on Care Package, which is pretty funny to think about that I listened to Care Package before I listened to the deluxe edition of the first Drake album that I listened to. But yeah, great deluxe. Let's get into the actual track list though. First of all, Tuscan Leather and Pound Cake. To have your best ever intro and your best ever outro on the same album is crazy. Like, both are amazing, and I wouldn't look at you sideways if you said that was the two best Drake songs. They're personally not my two favourite Drake songs, but they're both top 5 for me. Pound Cake. I mean, Jay-Z's verse is a bit of a meme, but I really like it. The beat on it is so good, especially after the beat switch. I think the beat switch is underrated. Drake goes crazy over both. So much quotable Drake lines on there. And then Tuscan Leather, like, that song was just right. You know what I mean? You can tell that Drake went into the studio and recorded that, and like, it was perfect first take and shit like that. Like, that song was just meant to be. Crazy beat on that one too. Like, everyone speaks about the rapping on Tuscan Leather and how it's like Drake's best ever rapping performance. But like, no one speaks about how amazing the production is on that. But yeah, you also got so much bangers within the track list. Like, Connect is great to me. From Time with Jhené Aiko is my favourite song on the whole album. Can we go back to when Jhené Aiko was featured on every popular rap album? Like, I swear I've not heard her name in years, but like, she was amazing back in the day. The beat on that is so slick as well. Just such a catchy song. Wu-Tang Forever's got a really weird vibe to it for Drake, but it's great. Furthest Thing's amazing. 305 to My City is great. Fuck, what's the other one? There's another one that I love on this album that I've not mentioned, and I won't mention because I've forgotten it. But yeah, this is genuinely a really special Drake album. Like, I'm talking an album where the lower ranking songs, like, I'm talking songs that rank like 8th and 9th, is still all-time Drake songs on here. It's also great for a short, concise Drake listen. It's not exactly short in terms of length. It's quite an average album in terms of length, but like, there are just 12 songs on here. You know, which, when you look at what he's doing now, where like, I mean, Hell Lost Honestly Nevermind weren't long, but like, Certified Lover Boy 21 songs, For All the Dogs 23 songs, Scorpion 25 songs, Views 20 songs. Yeah, he wasn't doing that on here. I would say All Killer, but that's when we get into my problems. That's when we get into my problems with the album. The trap songs. The fucking trap songs. You take them out of here, and the album's perfect. The album is a flawless album if you get rid of Worst Behaviour and the other one. Start From the Bottom is still great to me because of that nostalgia aspect, and also like the started from the bottom, now we're here refrain is genuinely catchy. The beat on it is great. But the other two, those two trap Drake songs, they ruin this fucking album. This would be number 1 if it wasn't for those songs. And I get people will be like, oh, just ignore those songs, the rest of the album's amazing. Consistency is important in terms of the discography ranking. Like, that's why I praise something like Honestly Nevermind or Scorpion as much as I did, was because Scorpion, there's only one song I don't like, Honestly Nevermind, same story. But this shit, like, you take those two songs out and this album is so good. But like, I think it would be easier to ignore if the album's like 20 songs. But no, it is a shorter, more concise Drake listen. So when you've got a couple bad songs, it stands out more. Especially when those songs are really bad. Like, especially Worst Behaviour. I can't stand that fucking song. But yeah, outside of those two, I can't even remember the name of the other one. It's like The Language or something. It's one of the songs. um, but yeah, it was a great album for its time. One of the best albums of 2013. I wouldn't say it's my favourite rap album of 2013. You'll find that out in a later video, I assume, when I talk about who has my favourite rap album of 2013. Give you a clue, it's someone I don't think I've spoken about him on this channel. But yeah, I think I've genuinely spoken about one of that guy's songs, which is crazy for how like important he is. You've probably worked out what my favorite 2013 album is. I'm still gonna keep it a secret, but like if any of you guess, like I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not gonna be surprised. But one of the best of 2013, probably like second or third for me. Genuinely a great album, and an album that I have a lot of nostalgia for as the first album I listened to by my favourite artist. But yeah, let's get on to the top three. The three actually good albums. I hate Nothing Was the Same. Nothing was the same after this video. My channel got taken down. No, I'm joking. Yeah. Yeah. Let that sink in. This is better than Nothing Was the Same for me. Yeah. The Drake album that isn't even an album or a mixtape, and is technically breaking the compilation album rule, is top three. But you've got to understand some context with this album. I'm from the UK. Shit like Afrobeats and drill and like reggaeton and stuff, that's the type of stuff that is amazing over here. There are so much great songs on this album. Like Free Smoke is one that I always kind of slept on. Like, again, it's that dark Drake trap song vibe. But that one does the whole thing well. And it also kind of like, it was also kind of like influential. You know, because it was one of the first songs that did the switch up from the R&B into the dark trap beat. Yeah. And then like Drake did it after that, Gucci Mane did it after that. It's a common style now to have like a really nice iconic soul sample and then go into some like dark heavy 808s trap beat like 10 seconds in. But yeah, great intro. Shit like Mediba Rhythm, which I've ruined that. I've fucked that pronunciation so bad. I'm gonna get cancelled now. Get It Together is an absolute banger, even though Drake's barely on it. Blem, that song is one I always think, oh, Blem's just okay. And then I actually go through the track list, and those bloody hi-hats, they do something to me. Those hi-hats do something to me. I love that song so much. I'm Blem for real, I might just say how I feel. Like, oh my god. Oh, that song makes you move. Georgia Interlude's great. 4422 is one of my favourite songs to ever appear on a Drake album. That's the one I was forgetting. Was the sampler track off Nothing Was the Same. That's an amazing song. Fucking beautiful shit. And I'm angry that I forgot to mention that, because other than From Time, that's my favourite song on the album. But 4422, holy shit. I mean, I want Drake on that beat. That beat was made for Drake, and he's not even on it. But the fact that the best song on this album, I've said it, the best song on this album is the one that doesn't feature Drake on it at all, is funny to me. But the best Drake performance on this album, for me, like the best Drake song, is Passion Fruit. I'm glad that song's became as popular as it has, because when I first listened to that album, I was like, this is the one. This is the massive hit off this album. This is the one that's going to blow up and go crazy. Like, it's such a good song. Like, It's very poppy. That's another one I forgot to mention of Views. Shit. Feel No Ways. How did I not mention that song? That's one of my favourites on Views. Oh, I didn't even mention Hotline Bling when I was speaking about Views. Like, oh my god, that was embarrassing. Too late now. But yeah, More Life is great to me. I think if you're going to an album just for Drake trap bangers, you don't get much better than More Life, because every trap song on here is amazing. You know, you've got Free Smoke, which is an insane banger. Gyalchester, that flow is insane. One of the catchiest ever Drake cooks, I think, is on Gyalchester. Then the Gigs collabs. Both are controversial for their own reasons. The Gigs verses, no one speaks about them. I like the Gigs verses. Gigs is a bit of an icon over here, so it's cool to see him on a Drake album. But like, KMT, obviously, there was the X comparison. Again, that's a flow that Drake stole that I think Drake did better than anyone else. Like, I've never liked Look at Me. There are X songs I like. I promise I'm not just an X hater. There are X songs I like. But I'm very much more into the sad boy emo X than I am into the like edgy banger X. Like that's not what I go to X for. I mean, I don't go to X in general, but like when I want sad stuff, I'll go to like Fuck Love or 17 or whatever. But like, yeah, he's not my favourite rapper or anything, but I'm not a hater as well. And then No Long Talk, he did the fucking accent. That's one thing I don't like about this album, is the accents. The accents drive me insane. Like the fucking, we got more tune for your head top. Like, I hate the term, but it gives me the ick every time I fucking hear it. Like every time Drake's on this album, like, more tune for your head top. Like that is the like, I remember you was conflicted of this album, but the I remember you was conflicted thing is like iconic and amazing for T-Pab, and it adds to the album conceptually almost, and it helps transition the songs. Drake going, more tune for your head tap, like, shut up, mate. That actually, like, I've not even spoken about Do Not Disturb. Oh my god. I love that song. It's quite similar to Is There More in a sense, where it is like this like trap beat with a sample on it, and Drake's just talking his shit. But this one is way better than Is There More. I love this fucking song so much. Nothing's Into Something's great song. I've just realised I didn't speak about That's How You Feel for Scorpion. That's like one of my favourites on the R&B part. I am terrible at discography rankings. Like this is going to be practice for me. Before we get into the ones that like I actually want to talk about every song. But yeah, this is just an amazing album. Party Next Door song on here, great. Ice Melts is another one. I almost forgot to mention Ice Melts. Shit. Ice Melts is amazing. I love that song. And I'm surprised that one wasn't more of a hit than it was. I believe it was the first Drake and Young Thug collab. I might be wrong, but I believe it was the first Drake and Young Thug collab. It was definitely the first time that Young Thug was on a Drake album. And Young Thug's maybe my favourite ever trap artist, so it was really nice to see him on here. That beat is insane. Both Young Thug and Drake are catchy as fuck on this song. Amazing. Portland, another great trap song. This one's got Travis Scott and Quavo, which any song with that feature list back in 2017 is going to be hype as fuck. Like, let's be real, that's an insane song. But like, yeah, I swear I've said but like yeah to transition every time. Take a shot every time I say but like yeah in this video. Sacrifices with 2 Chainz and Young Thug, another great one. The beat on there is really weird. It's got this like unique atmosphere to it, like, and I love when Drake does that because obviously Drake's got a lot of trap bangers in his discography. So it's gotten to a point now where you need to be doing something unique in order to get played over like just the old trap Drake stuff. But like, yeah, that song, amazing. I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I don't think I am. No, let's move on to the shit I don't like on here. Two songs. Two songs I'm not crazy about on this one. Those are Glow with Kanye West. Really disappointing collab. Like Drake and Kanye, again, two of my favorite rappers. But that song just, it didn't do it for me. And then the other one I don't like is Skepta Interlude, but I've been a bit more lenient on the consistency of this album just because obviously Skepta Interlude isn't a Drake song, so it's not that bad that I didn't like it, you know. Oh yeah, Fake Love, I'm not crazy about either. You know, you've got the big voice delivery that he did on If You're Reading This It's Too Late, you know, the like delivery that he did. But he's doing that over a more melodic song. I get it. I just don't really like the fact that he's shouting at me on it. The beat on it's great. The beat on it is great. Like, give that song to Young Thug, genuinely. Take Drake off Fake Love and give that beat to Young Thug, and that song's special, man. That beat is so unique. It's got such a nice vibe to it. But yeah, Drake ruins it. But yeah, I've been a bit more lenient with Skepta Interlude because Skepta Interlude has nothing to do with Drake. You know, Skepta produced it, Skepta rapped on it. You know, I just don't like that song. I know he is a legend over here, and I'm not one of those guys that's like, I only like American rap, UK rap is ass. No, I like UK rap, but Skepta's not one of my favourite UK rappers by any means. Like, I don't really like Skepta all that much. He's not really my cup of tea. But yeah, More Life is genuinely a great album. It does the whole a million different Drake sounds on one album. Let's mix and match them all together and throw a load of songs at the wall and see what sticks formula. But every song's amazing. Like, I'm talking like, if For All the Dogs is the better Certified Lover Boy, this is the better For All the Dogs. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's get into the top two, which you've probably worked out what they are already. That's it. Two of my top three Drake albums aren't even albums. But yeah, this shit's insane. I know I was clowning Trap Drake earlier on, but this shit, wow. And I think other than Views, this is the closest thing Drake has to a skipless album. And I'd argue that it's even more skipless than Views, just because, you know, Views, there's a lot of okay stuff on there, but like on this, it's all bangers. It is all bangers. Other than Madonna, I find that song boring. But yeah, shit, I didn't even mention Hold On We're Going Home for Nothing Was the Same. I'm getting all these thoughts, like these songs. It just shows how much bangers Drake has that like I've spoken in depth about all of these albums and missed out some of my favorite ever Drake songs as well. You know, like that just shows how strong he is. You know, you've got like 60 songs that could all make it into the top 20 Drake songs. Like, it's insane. But yeah, let's actually talk about this mixtape. This album is like angry Drake. Like, people always want a full-on Drake trap album, and a lot of the people that want that are Nothing Was the Same fans, which is funny to me because there are a lot of R&B and pop cuts on Nothing Was the Same. You know, From Time, Hold On, We're Going Home, they're both like borderline pop songs. You know, From Time's more R&B, but it's definitely got pop appeal to it. But yeah, this album, you don't really have any of that. This album is the closest thing that Drake has to a full-on rap album, to the point where there is only one non-rap song on here, and even then he raps on that song, that being Jungle, which is my... Well, I don't want to say it's my favourite ever because Star 67's also on here. That's the thing. Drake has three of my three favourite Drake songs all on the same album on here. With Star 67, 6 p.m. in New York, and Jungle. Which I believe 6 p.m. in New York's like the best timestamp song. I don't know what people think because again, I'm tapped into the music. I'm not really out here like interviewing fans or whatever, but like I feel as if I asked around, I'm not sure if that would be the number one. But 6 p.m. New York, amazing fucking song. Like the Tiger diss on there is something that plays through my head all the time, and it's like to make a soulful stream of consciousness crazy song like that, like crazy lyrical song that's as catchy as that is crazy to me. But yeah, this shit was amazing. Then you got Jungle, which the beat on that shit, I'm not gonna lie, I'm completely exposed myself as a soft soy boy. The beat on that shit brought me to tears the first time I heard it. That song is beautiful. Another beautiful song on here is You in the Six, which I think is actually quite an underrated song. Song about his relationship with his mother, which I'm not too tapped into, but yeah, that's an amazing song. Tearing up just thinking about it. But like, yeah, yeah, fuck. I've spoken about all these songs. Star 67 as well, my favourite ever Drake song. First half of this shit hits so hard, and then the switch up, like, oh my god. Like, oh my god. I'd say that to compare it to someone else's song, that's also my favourite song by that artist, which kind of spoils the discography ranking for that artist, but then again, the album of the year spoils it because I'm pretty sure I've reviewed all their albums. Star 67 is like Drake's Okay Alright, in my opinion. You know, the first half is a crazy banger, and then the second half, like, that shit just makes me ascend. Beautiful fucking song. But yeah, I feel as if, like, I've spoken about, like, this is the hardest hitting Drake album, and I've spoken about all the beautiful songs. And Now and Forever is another great psychedelic one. But yeah, let's get into the actual bangers on this album, because that's what a lot of people go to this album for, is because Drake's got this big, high energy, amped up, aggressive rapping style on it, which is completely different to anything that he'd put out before. Seeing this album come out, like, as a Drake fan at the time, was so interesting because obviously up until that point I'd liked him for the R&B cuts. I thought he could rap, but like his rapping was more secondary. You know, his rapping was kind of like, this is kind of like if Lil Wayne was a bit more immature, and the punchlines weren't as good. But yeah, this was the first real time that Drake got aggressive with it, and it was like, oh shit, this guy's like out for blood right now. A lot of the production on here was handled by the same guy as well, which is pretty interesting to me. It's handled by the guy that I can't even say the name of. I know the producer tag, but like I don't know how to say it. But shout out him, his production on here is great. Energy, fucking nasty song. Then you've got 6 Man, which is this crazy fast-paced Drake trap song. 6 God samples fucking Donkey Kong. Like, and that shit's insane. You've got the I can't even do it, but like that melody plus that bass line, that bass line fucking ripples through you. Insane banger. What else is there? No Telling, I think, is an underrated one just because it's a bit slower. But that one's great too. Fuck, what's it called? No. How am I forgetting the name of this one? Let's just move on to the other songs and I'll remember it. Preach. Oh my god. Fans of the channel will know how much I love Party Next Door, and Preach is pretty much a Party Next Door song. He also has an interlude on the album, so it's pretty funny because, like, yeah. The feature list on this thing is small, but it's amazing. You've got two brilliant Party Next Door features. Travis Scott goes crazy on Company. The grimy switch up into his half is so nice. And then Used to with Lil Wayne. Anthem. I was running through the six with my woes. That song's crazy as well. You know how that should go. You know how that should go. I do think that song is a bit overrated. Because it isn't in my top half ranking for this album, but like genuinely amazing song. I'm actually a bit fall asleep. I've been talking for so long. I think shit, have I been talking like 40 minutes? Oh my god. I think I've been talking for even longer. But yeah, this album, great album. Sorry, I'm just really passionate about this kind of thing. I feel as if I can't be clowned for having this at number one. This is just an amazing album. This also was the start of something in terms of Drake's discography, because there was Drake before Take Care, and then there was Drake after Take Care. And it was two very different things. Like, that's not me shading So Far Gone and Thank Me Later by any means. I love those albums. But this was the start of Drake being special. Like, those two albums would be, like, fair enough. Like, those are really good. But Drake wouldn't be my favourite rapper if it wasn't for this album, what he's done after. This album is so fucking good. Let's get it out of the way. There are two songs I don't like on here, and you can probably guess what ones they are if you've heard what I've been saying throughout the video. Those are The Motto. Horrible fucking song. Genuinely terrible. I hate that fucking song. It's got that, like, old, early 2010s club rap type of beat that I don't like. And then this is going to be the more controversial take. I don't like Hell Yeah Fucking Right. Let me preface this with this. I love Lil Wayne on this song. Lil Wayne goes crazy. But Drake's verse on here that lasts like a minute is horrible. You know, Drake's like I think he's trying to go for like this fast rapping style or some shit. But it's offbeat as fuck and it's not nice to listen to. But yeah, let's get into the actual good part of the album. Holy shit, every song on here is crazy. Over My Dead Body, great intro. Crew Love with The Weeknd, banger. Take Care with Rihanna, one of the first like Drake electronic dance songs, and it's great. Doing It Wrong, beautiful late night song. Cameras / Good Ones Go interludes, great. Speaking of the interludes, Buried Alive interlude by Kendrick Lamar, crazy Kendrick song, and it was really nice to hear Kendrick over that kind of beat. Kendrick's actually one that I was planning on doing a discography ranking for. I have already heard all of his albums, so it would be like one of those I could put out within a week, you know. I'd have to like deliberate what the best one was, but like, yeah. Well, I already know what the best one was, but I'd have to like work out how the others compare. But yeah. That song's amazing. Marvin's Room, you can't talk about Take Care without talking about Marvin's Room. Oh my god. How did he make a song about taking someone's girl sound as beautiful as this shit? Like, the beat on here or whatever is kind of basic, but it allows Drake to just do his thing over it melodically. And that hook, like, fuck that person that you love so bad. Oh my god, that shit plays in my head all the time. Like, I've been talking about how catchy a lot of Drake's songs are throughout this video. Marvin's Room's probably the catchiest Drake song for me. You know, that song has not left my head for 12 fucking years. Well, not 12 years, because I technically only listened to it in like 2013, so 10 years. 10 years that's been stuck in my head. Constant. That's the kind of song that, like, you can play 20 times in a row and not get sick of it. I've done that multiple times. Whenever I'm in my feelings, I don't listen to any other song. I just put on Marvin's Room 20 times and then I go and listen to Chance the Rapper to cheer me up. Fuck. That's embarrassing. No, that song's great. We'll Be Fine, amazing. The Nicki track on here. What's the Nicki track called again? That one, whatever it's called. The beat is horrible on it. Like, it's got this weird, like, synthesizer on it, but Drake is nice enough on it, and then Nicki steals the show with her verse. Which she always does. The Real Her, Andre 3K, and Lil Wayne, which... That's my two goats right there on the same song. That song's amazing. I love that song so much. I really like that song. Okay. But yeah, just so much quality music on here. Fuck, what's it called? The one where he like tributes his grandma and that. What's that one called again? That one actually has brought me to tears. Like, Jungle, I was having a bit of a laugh. I'd never normally cry to music, especially Drake's music. Drake's just fun pop rap stuff. But when his grandma started talking and I like looked into it on Genius and found out that she'd like passed or whatever, that shit like brought me to tears. I loved that song so much that I've forgotten the name of it. But yeah. Take care, Drake care, whatever you want to call it. Drake, take care, take Drake care. Take care after watching this video. Fuck. But yeah, I hope you can see why this is my number one Drake album. I don't know many people who have Take Care as the number one. Normally it's Nothing Was the Same. Normally it's Nothing Was the Same or Views that I see at number one for a lot of people whenever I talk to people about Drake's discography. This is my number one. I know my friends disagree with me on this one, but let me be sad alone, okay? Fuck, I didn't even mention Headlines. Headlines, all-time Drake banger. Hell, even fucking Underground Kings, the song named after UGK. That song? I've been clowning Trap Drake throughout this whole video. Again, I'm going to reiterate it. Drake was doing trap better in 2011 than he's doing it now. Like... It's great. Birdman didn't ruin the song he was on. You know, it's just a special track list, you know. An album with features from The Weeknd, Rihanna, multiple features from Lil Wayne, he's on like 3 songs again. Andre 3000, Kendrick Lamar, fucking Nicki Minaj. That shit's never gonna be bad. And Drake just turned around and made it an amazing project. And Take Care is truly a special album for me. It holds a special place in my heart. And that's why it's number one for me in Drake's discography. But yeah, let's get into the outro. If you've watched all the way through this video, I want to say thanks for watching. This is definitely going to be a longer one, and it's not got interesting music in the background because it's not me reacting. You've had to put up with me in my antics for however long. I talked about Scorpion for like 15 minutes or some shit. But yeah, this should get it covered. I'd never have to speak about Drake again. No, I'm joking. I know the last 2 videos have been long form videos about Drake. I'm going to speak about other people. I'm burned out on Drake now. No, I'm joking. I'll never be burned out on Drake. But yeah, I'm more interested in speaking about some other people after this. So expect sort of up until the end of the year, unless I get like a specific itch to do an album review, pretty much expect album reactions and lists. And then maybe another discography ranking by the end of the year if I work out who I want to do one on. I've actually got a few ideas as to who I want to do. Nav was one, Kendrick Lamar was one, J. Cole was one. I've actually been going through 2 Chainz' catalogue recently, so if you're interested in that, I might do that. But yeah, anyone that you want me to do a discography ranking on, or anyone you just want me to speak about, I'd be happy to do so. But yeah, no sort of reviews or whatever, but like, yeah, it's just going to be the usual stuff up until the end of the year, and I will do, like, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do the end of year videos, but I will definitely do at least one album video on albums, like my worst and best albums, and then my worst and best songs. I don't know if I'm going to do hit songs or not, because hit songs have actually not been that bad this year. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you liked. Comment down below what your favourite and least favourite Drake albums are, and I'd like to read that. But yeah, I will catch you in the next one. Haven't thought of a name yet. Drake Forever. Nah, that's bad. Bye.